I created this video specifically for my colored, Khoi, and San people of the Cape. When I refer to the Cape, I mean the Western, Northern, and Eastern Cape, but more specifically the Western and Northern Cape, the cradle of our ancestral heritage. The first video provides undeniable proof of how we, as colored people, are systematically marginalized in the so-called Rainbow Nation.
You agree, right? Now we're going to deal with context. Chairperson of Human Resource in the council, right? That's the committee. Chairperson?
That's correct, Honourable Member.
Chairperson, what's your nationality?
I'm a South African, Honourable Member.
How are you classified? You're dealing with Human Resource. How are you classified?
I'm born South African. If it comes to classification per race, classified as white.
You're white South African. I'm very happy that out of 1,893 total staff, 1,732 is black South Africans. I'm very happy about that. Are you happy that out of 1,893, only 111 is white South Africans?
Honourable Member, I'm happy that the statistics accurately reflect the demographics primarily of the country and that of the region.
So you're happy?
Yes, I am, Honourable Member.
Director, what is your nationality? Director, Human Resource, did I hear correctly? Is that Director?
Senior Director, Human Resources.
Director, what's your nationality?
I'm classified as a colored South African.
A colored South African. Now, to the both of you, out of 1,893 total, there are only 7 colored South Africans employed. What is the reason for this?
Well, our employment equity plan works on the basis of natural attrition. So it's not working on the basis that we basically get rid of people in order to get the representation figures right. It works on the basis of natural attrition, and you will know natural attrition, especially in a South African university sector, where our turnover is something like 2.7%. You just don't get the opportunity to very robustly and aggressively increase the numbers where they may be lacking. That's the situation.
Are you saying that that's the reason why you only have 7 coloreds out of 1,893 total staff?
The principle we work on is natural attrition. Our other aspect is how do we attract people to apply for positions at our university. We have a number of impediments. The most significant one, to my observation, is the location of our
Okay, let me put it to you
university.
this way. Natural attrition. Let me put it to you this way. Foreign nationals, not permanent residents, foreign nationals are 10 in total. 10 foreign nationals, which the law says you should not employ unless it is a scarce skill. It's not permanent residence. I don't have time, but this would be my last question. It has to be. There's 10 foreign nationals. They are more than coloreds in total
And they
at the university.
agreed.
How does your reason justify that?
Okay, because that category of employee is based on a contract. They're not permanent employees.
Are you listening to yourself now?
Yes, I am listening to myself.
You have 7
Yes.
colored South Africans
Yeah.
in total. You have on contract, it's still employment. Somebody's going home with money.
I think
You have 10 foreign nationals, more than colored South Africans, born here. Foreign nationals, based on the conversation we're having here, there's permanent residents, there's naturalized citizens. Now you have foreign nationals that doesn't have permanent residence. They don't have naturalized citizenship. You have more of them employed at the university and less colored South Africans born here. How do you justify that? Do you understand what I'm saying? Colored South Africans are being marginalized in this country. There is no justification. I overlook the whole permanent resident thing. I overlook the whole naturalized citizen thing. You cannot explain away now where the law says you cannot employ a foreign national, whether on contract, casual, or whatever. And what you guys are doing, you take 7 colored South Africans that are born here. You take 10 foreign nationals, and that's supposed to be okay?
Can I respond?
Is that okay?
No, it's not okay, and I'll tell you why it's not okay. Can I?
Please.
Yeah.
So, we've spoken earlier about the whole issue of contextualizing issues. So I think the better question or the better evidence to give you is in terms of how many coloreds have applied for particular positions at the university. And I think against that background, we can then talk about whether employing only 7 is correct or not.
I'm going to close with this. And I'm going to close with this. My time is up, but I must tell you I'm extremely disappointed. Because you're choosing to justify this. You are basically saying more foreign national supplies than coloreds. Your stat says.
Yes.
Your stat says.
I'm saying that.
It's impossible.
I will show you the statistics anytime.
And I'm going to challenge that officially. There are hundreds of colored South Africans looking for jobs in this country. And for you to employ more foreign nationals and the law doesn't allow you to do so, and you are justifying it, and you from the race group, I'm extremely disappointed.
Yeah, no, thank you very much.
This betrayal has festered for decades, intensifying since the end of apartheid in 1994. As you can see, we as coloreds are denied the same opportunities as blacks and even whites, despite outnumbering whites in these regions. Here are the stark demographics for the Western Cape. Colored, 42.1%. Black, 38.8%. White, 16.4%. Indian or Asian, 1.1%. And for the Northern Cape, Black African, 50.1%. Colored, 41.6%. White, 7.3%. Indian plus Asian, 0.8%. To add some more context, back in 1994, the demographics in the Western and Northern Cape looked like this. In the Northern Cape, colored people made up about 53.5% of the population, while black people were around 29.9%. Over in the Western Cape, colored folks were roughly 54%, with black people at about 21%, plus around 21% white and 1% Indian or Asian. After that, there was this endless influx of Nguni people pouring in from the Eastern Cape and other provinces, flooding into the Western Cape. And honestly, the ANC's big goal was to wipe out the so-called colored majority in both the Western and Northern Cape. They even admitted it themselves. They've never really cared about us, just like the whites never did. How is it conceivable that we, the colored people who form the majority in these provinces, are relegated to the fewest employment opportunities across government and private sectors? We are the direct descendants of South Africa's first inhabitants, the Khoi San, whose presence in this land dates back over 1 300,000 years. The Nguni peoples, part of the broader Bantu expansion originating from Central Africa around 3000 BCE, began migrating southward in waves, reaching eastern South Africa by the early centuries CE, around 300 to 500 AD. They encountered the Khoi and San already thriving here as the indigenous stewards of the land. Historical records confirm conflicts arose over resources, leading to displacement, assimilation, and violence against the peaceful, nomadic Khoi and San. Men were killed in battles, women were subjected to forced unions, and communities were overrun. This violent integration is evident in the Xhosa language, where cliques borrowed from the Khoisan tongues were passed down through ancestral mothers who endured conquest and taught their children the sounds of their heritage. Centuries later, when Dutch settlers under Jan van Riebeeck arrived at the Cape in 1652, they encountered not Nguni tribes, but the Khoi herders and San hunters who had long called this region home. The Dutch continued the cycle of dispossession, waging wars like the Khoi Dutch Wars of 1659 to 1660 and 1673 to 1677, murdering San men, exploiting women, and seizing land. From these atrocities emerged the colored people, a resilient fusion of Khoisan, European settlers, enslaved Africans, including some Nguni, and Asians. Genetic studies reveal that coloreds in the Western and Northern Cape carry significant Khoi San ancestry, often 30 to 40% autosomal DNA, with even higher maternal lineages, up to 60 to 70% Khoisan mtDNA, far outweighing European or Bantu contributions in many cases. Look at our faces. They echo the features of the San more than any invader. Yet Nguni descendants mock us, claiming we are Malays, bound for Malaysia, or whites for Europe, ignorant that our Khoi San roots grants us deeper claim to this soil than theirs. Their disdain boils over in events like the recent Open Podcast scandal, where Twitter erupted with black South Africans defending the host and hurling insults at coloreds. Here is the video and some damning comments from Twitter.
The Khaleds apparently chow each other, chief.
Siblings.
You don't know?
No, but I believe that because Khaleds are crazy. Khaleds are crazy.
Crazy in what way?
They chow each other. Those are
I've dated a Khaled, so I can
I've
say
dated a
that.
Khaled, but then I just know
I've
they're
dated a
crazy
crazy
mentally, but not
No,
not
if
to
you're not,
that
if you're
point,
mentally
bro.
crazy, then of course you sleep with your cousin.
Okay.
Here is another video.
The thing is, why do colored people make it their business to separate themselves from being black? They make it their business to separate themselves from being black. Like, nah, we're not black. No, we're not black. No, who me black? No, I could never be that. I could never be that. And here's the thing. Colored people are only black when it's convenient. You have to watch out for these guys. They're only black when it's convenient. If Tyler wins a Grammy, ooh, she colored, she not black, she colored. But if Mandela becomes president of South Africa, yeah, my bro, Amanda, my bro, we in this together, yeah, my bro. You have to watch out for these people because they make it their business to separate themselves from us. When it's convenient, they're black. But when it's not convenient, oh no, we colored. We different. We have silky hair. We different. Mto was clearly making a joke. He was clearly trying to be funny. The joke itself was not funny. It was just distasteful. But at the same time, does that mean they should be cancelled and they should never upload an episode again because of a fucking joke he made on YouTube? Fuck out of here. And the thing about Gayton McKenzie, he's so fucking clueless. He thinks Open Chat's podcast was on SABC. Do your research before you get on your phone.
Exposing the Open Podcast. Most Nguni blacks fail to grasp that, just as they encompass diverse groups, so do coloreds. Those labeled colored in Gauteng, Khoisan, and the Eastern Cape are often recent mixed-race individuals like Trevor Noah, born of Xhosa and Swiss parents, not rooted in our centuries-old community. True coloureds hail from the Western and parts of the Northern Cape, where lineages trace back generations of intercoloured unions, forging us into a distinct people akin to Latinos in the Americas. Our core DNA is Khoi and San, and original San communities still endure in the Northern Cape, defying erasure. But successive regimes, the apartheid government, and now the Nguni-dominated ANC since 1994, have sought to obliterate them through neglect and assimilation, fearing a united Khoi San front reclaiming our birthright. They trap us in cycles of poverty, addiction, infighting, and ignorance of our history. This is the contempt they all harbor. It is not just Ngunis, it is whites too. The system is engineered to crush our spirit and prevent mobilization for what is rightfully ours. They tout BBBEE as inclusive of coloureds, but the reality mocks us. Open your eyes. In the Western Cape, where we dominate demographically, enter any shop in Cape Town or its surrounds. Pick n Pay, malls, petrol stations, hospitals, police stations, and witness 90% or even 100% black Nguni workers. Verify it yourselves. How can we, the coloured nation and original guardians of the Cape, permit invaders to seize our land unchallenged? Do we forsake our future, our children's legacy, our sacred heritage? We fought side by side with them in the battle for South Africa's freedom. Just in the 1976 uprisings, more than 100 lives were lost in the Western Cape's coloured townships, and in the brutal police crackdowns of the 1980s in places like Athlone, Pontehovel, and the Cape Flats, dozens more fell, including the horrific Trojan Horse massacre in Athlone in 1985, where apartheid forces coldly gunned down at least 3 young people. Our ancestors died resisting that oppression. But after 1994, this so-called freedom brought us a kind of a reverse apartheid, a betrayal by the ANC and Nguni leaders that echoes how our Khoi and San forebears were tricked when they first welcomed Bantu migrants, only to be conquered in the end. The time for reckoning is here. We need to come together as coloured people, not under the DA, which we've supported for far too long, myself included. No, let's rally behind a real Cape coloured party, one that's unapologetically our own. If whites and Ngunis can wave their tribal flags proudly, like the VF, ANC, and MKP, why should we hide? Forget Gayton McKenzie. He's mixed race with Nguni roots that split his loyalties. We never wanted this racial divide, but after generations of oppression from Ngunis and whites alike, we've got no choice. We have to match their tribalism with our own. Let's build that party, spark a movement, and break free the Western and Northern Cape from South Africa's hold. Imagine our own independent state, a shining example of true equality, where coloured, San, and Khoi people finally come first, no longer stepped on. I'm tired of our endless suffering, the poverty, the violence, the way we're erased. Let's unite now while we still have the numbers on our side. Reclaim our land, whether through the ballot or revolution, for the sake of our children and grandchildren. Free the Cape, free the coloured nation. And I'll leave you with this documentary about our kin in the Northern Cape. They say that San are extinct. Show them this and set the record straight.
Voordat die mens daar was, het die heelal eers die aarde en die hemele gemaak. En het alle gesondheid daarin gesit. En toe die mens daar kom, was outomaties die genesing vir hom binne in die aarde reeds al weggebere. Want hy het geweet dat oortredings in die mens se hart sou kom. Hy het die kennis daar gebring in die mens, omdat hy die koningskap gehad het. Het die mens die bos en alles benaam. En hy het van alles het hy geneem om gesond en kragtig te bly. Die kinders is altyd geleer watter boom is hierdie. Dis die moenieboom. Dit is 'n A-boom. En dit is 'n voelend wat daar binne in die A-boom is. Nou die voelend kan jy ook gebruik teen die kanker en die borsklagtes om dit saam te vermeng. En dan drink jy dit. Dit is 'n oeroue kennis wat oorgedra is van geslagte tot geslagte lang.
Over 140,000 years, the Bushmen have developed a unique knowledge that allows them to survive in the unforgiving terrain of the Kalahari Desert. I'm intrigued to hear that these people who have been looked down upon for centuries have attracted the attention of the big drug companies in their search for remedies where conventional medicine is failing. So I headed out to this remote part of southern Africa to a small Khoi San community in Andresville to find out more. I wondered what's behind the David versus Goliath nature of this encounter.
Hierdie ene brand dit eintlik vir die geur en om die geeste weg te jaag. En hy doen baie goed vir my om vir my te beskerm onder daardie veel geeste terwyl ek besig is met my werk. Right.
In Andresville, I meet Jan van der Westhuizen, a highly respected Khoi herbalist. He's one of the few healers who still carry the traditions of ancient medicinal knowledge.
As ek voorberei, ek vra die krag van ons voorvaders om dit voor te bring wat ons nie vandag in hierdie lewe geskep het nie, maar wat hulle gehad het. En dat dit tot 'n genesing en gesondheid vir die mens moet wees. Dit is die begeerte van ons harte. En met daardie begeerte berei ons medisyne voor. Dit is hoekom ons so groot geloof het binne in die plante groei in die natuur.
The Bushmen welcomed early colonial settlers such as Jan van Riebeek, who came to rely heavily on their knowledge of the terrain and plant life, but times were soon to change.
Die Busman-nasie het heel oor die Suid-Afrikaanse gebiede gebly. Tussen die gebergtes, daar omdat hulle die rotskunste nagelaat, tot in die dieptes van die natuur. Waar die kwessie begin het, is toe mense van die buitewêreld inkom. As die makdiere inkom, hulle se spoor daar laat, dan trek die wild verder weg. En soos die wild daar trek, so trek die Busman saam met die wild. So kom die witman en die ander nasies van agteraf. So druk hulle vorentoe, so tem hulle die wêreld voor hulle uit. Het hulle die Busman-nasie gesien as 'n dier. Dit is 'n vuil nasie. Want hulle het hulle uitgedood met die gewere. Die rykdom van ons land, dit het hy gevat. Dit het nie gehad nie. Dit die bees aanbetref, die bokke, die skape, dit het hulle van ons ou Khoi nasie gekom gryp vat. Diamante gegryp vat, alles gegryp vat, alles gelewe. Goud, diamant, water, alles. Is hulle sin. Die Bushman moes agter die woude hardloop, agter die wild, saamtrek. En hy was voor die geweer. Hy was so voor die korrel gewees. Saam die springbokke, saam die leeu's. Dis 'n doodmaak ding.
The loss of land to these people, who were once hunters and gatherers, has had a devastating impact on their way of life and sense of self. Cornered in the desert, poverty thrives. Feels like I'm witnessing a people on the verge of extinction.
Ja, jy kan net jou spiere laat vang. Wat ek voel Bart is dat die lewer hy het al aanstoots gekry. En jy sal moet meer met die tone werk. Jy weet, julle is manne wat baie drink ook. En dit tas gewoonlik die lewer. Tas dit gewoonlik aan. En dit sal 'n swak effek op jou bring. Die derms is nou nie meer hier waar hy moet wees nie. Ja, die hele derms is nou meer in die bokant, daarom kan jy maar hoor daar. Waar skreeu hy? As ek voel aan hom. Want die derms het klim. Kom ons voel hom net, laat ons kyk en as hy 'n bietjie reg maak. Hierdie mag is so leeg. Dit voel vir my jy eet amper nie. So.
Ek eet seker agter.
Maar te min. Elke tweede dag.
Ja, wanneer ek lees is vir kos. Honger is. Die dingen mee mag waarschuwen, kos krim vir ons. Hy van lekker kos. Ek het nie lekker kos.
Daar iets meer. Jy net honger wees. Die app het ek eintlik gemeng met die Afrikaardappel. Jy kan hom so 'n bietjie proe op die hand. Hy het 'n bietjie eystervark mag in. En hy sal ook baie die winde uit jou uitwerk. Dit sal vir jou baie gesond wees, man. Dit sal weer vir jou krag gee. Jy sal gesond word. Die ene is die kersbos. Dis 'n baie taai bos. Nou, vir hom gebruik jy by vrouens wat baie pyn het. Gebruik jy hierdie bos. En as jy mooi sien jy lyk hy's opgerol soos 'n premtwak. Dan trek jy vir hom die bos en dan gee jy. Ja, dan verkry jy die verligting daarom en die pyn en so aan. Jy sien hierdie bosie is omtrent 2-3 jarige bosie. Dit is nou 'n redelike groot bosie. Die bosie is baie gesond en kragtig. En is 'n baie lekker vrug. Jy kan proe, hy is ook nie bitter nie. Hy is vol krag, hy's vol water.
And what is this for?
Hy maak jou gedagtes oop. Hy maak jou gedagtes oop en hy gaan gepaard met 'n groot gees. En hy maak die liggaam sterk. Hierdie onnodige goeie by die lyf, hy maak hom skoon. Bitter.
This is the plant that is attracting the pharmaceuticals. Hoodya allowed Bushmen to survive during long treks into the desert, providing water and suppressing the appetite. And as there is big money to be made out of developing a natural slimming product, the plant stands to decide their fate as a people.
Je kan zien dat die pol is dood. Dat is terwille van die droogtes van 2-3 jaar geleden. En die manier hoe die nobba hier weggevat is. Dat het gebleken dat hij heeltemal skaars is, want die hele bosse is gekom verwijderd.
Valboy om te komen voor zijn openingstoespraak. Meneer Peter Valboy.
A few years ago, the Bushmen signed an historic agreement with a South African government research body, the CSIR, who under apartheid had patented Hoodya as their own.
Ik noem mezelf de Bushman-kind van de Kalahari. Omdat de Kalahari eigen is aan mij. De hoogste wetenschappelijke in Zuid-Afrika is bereid om vandaag te tekenen, samen met ons achtbare minister, een overeenkomst dat die Bushman erkend en aanvaard wordt als een vernoot.
At the time of the signing, the CSIR had already entered a deal with a big international partner to research and market Hoodya as a slimming product, ignoring the Bushmen's intellectual property rights.
En voorbij zeker met mijn voorzitter van die WAMSA tekent recht. Ik heb zo bij een foto oorgekomen. Ik denk mijn lawyer zal die kant ophouden. Nu kunnen ze hem vandaag foto maken.
Dan moet je elke bladzijde nog parafeer. Would you do the? I wonder if we should do the parafering, man. Parafering onder hierdie jaar.
Die natuur het gebring alles wat mijn hart verlangt. En ik voel hierin lê 'n toekoms vir die Bushman-kind. Die Bushman sal lewe as ons mooi saam doen.
The agreement was sealed in the spirit of Thabo Mbeki's African Renaissance. The CSIR agreed to give the Bushmen a percentage of the income they would derive from their international partners. Like many, I believe that without media attention, the CSIR would never have entered negotiations. Human rights lawyer Roger Chanels was called in to represent the Bushmen.
A newspaper article was about to come out in London, in the Observer, and the Fighter Farm chief executive officer had told them that the San were extinct, to the best of his knowledge. So somebody phoned me and asked if the San were extinct. That was a good start to this whole game.
What was your course of action?
Well, we obviously had to speak to the San, and one of the difficulties was that the San, with all their knowledge, that obviously didn't have any knowledge whatsoever about patents and pharmaceutical companies and drugs and that whole world. Intellectual property was a totally ridiculous notion to them.
Martinez Horrocks, head of the bioprospecting program, showed me the facilities where the Hoodia trials are taking place.
First names here. Because everyone's a doctor, that's a problem.
You a doctor too?
Yeah. One of the disadvantages of this type of research is one highlights the potential commercial value of a specific plant species. And in the case of Hoodia, we're talking about a plant that grows very slowly and is not very abundant naturally. So there's a tremendous risk that a plant can be overexploited.
How many years does it take to grow to this size?
In nature, with the pressures of the low rainfall, sometimes it takes 50 years for a plant colony to reach maturity. But under the appropriate farming conditions, after 24 to 36 months, the plants are ready for harvest.
And the desired effect in terms of appetite suppressant, how much would you need? 4 or 5 stems for one dose?
You're not too far off the target there, but it might be more. It also depends on how fast the plant has grown. Clearly, if you give it a lot of water, it grows very fast.
While the CSIR cultivate Hoodia on thousands of acres of land, the plant is being poached in the wild.
When we set out with this bioprospecting program, we were aware that at that stage, the only thing happening is erosion of the intellectual property of South Africa, particularly the indigenous knowledge systems of its local communities, as well as our indigenous plants who are leaving South Africa. A simple search in the International Patent Register will demonstrate how many South African indigenous plants have already been patented by foreign organizations.
Why did you not contact the San before you made the deal?
The appropriate time for negotiating a benefit-sharing agreement, of course, is when there is some vision for the end product, some idea of the market size and the technical hurdles to be overcome.
Isn't it strange that the CSIR can patent indigenous knowledge and then only give the Bushmen a small percentage of profits? Jan and I went to see WIMSA, the umbrella body representing Bushmen in southern Africa, to find out from their director, Axel Thoma, why they never challenged the patent.
Challenge an international patent costs incredible money, and it needs incredible good lawyers. The Namibian government was considering to challenge the patent. They don't. So why should we, or let me say the San people, after they have gone this entire way, reaching their income out of it, why should they challenge the patent now? Just in order to get more and more and more? This is not San-like. The San are happy with what they reached, so why should we push them into saying, look, there are another few billion waiting for you? That's not development. We are happy with what we achieved. We are also happy that this patent or the medicine developed is recognizing the intellectual property of the San, basically their knowledge. This is a lot more. We don't have to count the money only. It's so great that for the first time somebody says, wow, this San have a knowledge. They are not just what people talked about in the past, these bushmen who don't know anything.
20 Bushman communities spread across 5 countries will share the expected €5 million from the deal. Just a tiny amount of the profit Hoodia is set to make.
Oma, dit is Riyad. Dit is een van ons kameramannen van SABC.
Omar Kuna is one of the few surviving Kamani Bushmen who speak the ancestral language. While listening to her, I feel how passionate she is about passing Bushman knowledge to future generations.
moeder het vir my geleer. Die krye. Sy is uit 'n Boesman stam uit. Hulle is half Khoi en half Boesman. En ek is verwek by haar as 'n Duitse seentjie. My pa was 'n Duitser. Daardie slag met die Duitse oorlog deur ons land hierdeur. Die Boesman meisies, hulle is sommer so in Kwanka gevang. En dan is hulle losbandigheid gepleeg mee. Ons is amper 'n ontkende nasie. Omdat daar 'n uitverbastering onder ons plaasgevind het. Maar die greintjie bloed wat in jou bloedlyne oorgebly het, dit het my teruggevat na die woude, dit het my teruggevat na die natuur.
So this is for colds, cough.
This is for flu. This is for flu.
Why you do this?
Om te voorsien dat die plant weer teruggroei en geherstel word in die aarde, dat hy nie weg moet trek en dat hy sy krag nie kan verloor nie.
Ja.
Okay.
Jy neem nie alles weg nie, jy gee iets terug.
Dat is die natuur. Dat is nou die natuur. Maar dat zijn van die Boesman. Hulle het moest die kliniek gaan lopen.
Hulle het nie kliniek geken.
Hy het gelewe van hierdie God. En nou drink ons nie, of drink krye medisyne. Net krye medisyne.
Ja.
Why did you put your hair?
As ek die lok afhaal om daar terug te sit, dan beteken dit ek betaal die aarde terug met my sweet.
Ja.
Sodat my hartkloppe gelykstaande aan die van die aarde, van die natuur kan wees.
I was taken aback by how much care they put into maintaining the delicate ecosystem of the Kalahari and how this is inextricably woven into their traditional way of life.
What do you call these birds?
Familievoeltjies. Hulle bly soos die Boesman in die groentuie en brei hulle so in bondels saam. So hulle is ook Boesmans. En sy mis het ons gewoonlik saamgevat met die bokhoring. En dan het die Boesman sy lekker bier gemaak met die heuning. En het geglo altyd as hy die mis van die voeltjie gedrink het, hy die krag van die voeltjie, jy weet, hy kan heel dag rondraas, vlieg en jag en alles. Daarom het hy altyd die bier van daardie mis gedrink. En dan vat ons ook daardie mis, van daardie wit mis, en die perd. En die perd se stinkkloutjie. Dan meng ons hom vir die manne wat so baie drink. Dan gee ons vir hom daar die binnekant by die drank. As hy die drank inkry, bietjie baie, dan gooi hom uit. Elke keer.
While the Bushmen wait for money from Hoodia to lift them out of a culture of dependency, the CSIR have exposed the plant to the rest of the world. Entrepreneurs hoping to make a quick buck out of obesity flood the global market with hundreds of illegal products that infringe the patent and threaten the plant's survival.
Chinese doctor Americans are the fattest people in the world, and scientists believe that Hoodia can cut the amount of food that these guys are eating down by half each day.
Hulle kan die vet omruil vir die plant en vir die medisyne en aan die Bushman betaal.
Ja.
Die gelde wat hulle ontneem het.
$40 for this, 250 rand.
My ma en my pa het my groot gemaak. Maar die ding daaroor dra kennis. Wat hulle sy werker. Dat kos dwars deur die winter, dwars deur die jare.
Dit is om.
Is medisyne. Dat is water. Kwasike. Jagan eentje. Jangaki. Die koma.
Nou as hy so uitroei is dan
waar kan ons op dis ons koers? Kry sy uit. Dan sê uit. Dan sê klaar. Dan sê weg. Jy kry hom nie weer. En dan lewe die Bushman nie. Van waar kry hy waar sy veld kos en natuur?
Hy's dood.
You got Hoodia here.
Well, Hoodia has been used by the San people for thousands of years as an appetite suppressant. It doesn't affect your glycemic index. It's not a stimulant. So it's most probably one of the few non-stimulating diet products on the market. And if you compare it to the pharmaceutical range of things which are caffeine-based, which will actually affect blood pressure.
Ephedrine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is harmless.
How are the San benefiting from this? Isn't this actually breaking the patent laws?
No, actually, the person we get this product from, their factory is in Natal, and they've got a deal directly with them. I feel the San people are just actually getting taken advantage of, you know, and they're going for the money.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
In the health store, I found a product that has similar significance for another Bushman community, this time in Namibia, Devil's Claw.
Devil's Claw is also an African product. It's been around for ages. What it actually is a natural anti-inflammatory, and it removes uric acid from the body. So you would actually use Devil's Claw in the case of arthritis, even gout.
Yeah.
And we use it every day and with much success.
Is it indigenous knowledge that can help people in their health ailments?
A lot of what the pharmaceutical companies have manufactured, they got from traditional medicine.
Jan and Omar are now aware that Hoodia products are being sold by companies operating outside of the deal. They take this information to David Kraper, their spiritual leader.
Secrets. Mooi boxiekie.
Geheim van die Bushman daar.
Die Bushman se geheim.
Die leier. Kan jy sien?
Tekening van die Bushman daar staan dit nou.
Nou ja. Nou ja.
Wat pak vlees?
Wat?
Daar maak hulle kyk daar. Popo.
Nou. Sien jy hoe is hy gebrand? Wie het hom gemaak? Ek ken hom nie so nie. Ek ken hom, waar ons hom eet, waar jy hom net die dorens afkraak.
Net so eet jy hom.
Kom, hoe smaak hy? Hoe smaak hy? Hoe smaak hy, broer? Ek word hom net leuk.
Proe hom net so.
Hoe smaak?
Daar kom sy smaak uit. Daar kom sy smaak uit.
Die kova.
Effens onderscheid, wat is smaak is dit? Hij die smaak is daai. Effens maar die kobai. Ja, je kan hem proeven uit de vermengsel. Ja. Wat ek van weet. Hy net gekom maar mee gekom sê. Sy is nog bezig met 'n koba. En 'n vrou, kom as julle mense dan so net matematig. En nie so dik. Toe gaan hy, hoekom wat sy goed gebruik lyk koba. Right, hulle gaan nie koba, hulle wys my net vat die koba, hy laat onleed hom. Beide kant. Daarom, nou, dat is geld daar. Al die mensen, verschillende die. Je weet, als hij moest niet medium size. Hij is net daar. Nou, waar is die geld?
Nou,
waar is die geld? Dat is nou.
Zo'n beetje weet niet dat een beetje Vienna's dat met Wien en er overeenkomst.
Nou, wat je overeenkomstig geweest. Dus open vergadering geweest. Ja. Maar dat daarin kan gezet. En de overeenkomsten gemaakt en een beetje te geven van die geld. Dat is wat je moest gaan doen met nou. Ja.
To eke out a small income, the bushmen sit on the highway that leads to the Kalahari Game Park, selling ethnic handicrafts to passing tourists. The emptiness of this daily existence leads many to seek solace in alcohol.
Ik zit bij die stalletjie om die goed voor mij te verkopen, om die traditie uit te oefenen. Maar dat is niet die manier niet. Want vandaag, die bottelen wat daar staan, die inhoud van die bottel wordt gemaakt door machine. Die geld wat hij verdient, voor die stalletjie, gebruik je om die bottel te gaan kopen. Om sy brein, sy gedagte, sy geheue dood te maak daarmee. Dus, Jan, dis nog my begeerte om terug te veg. Laat soort my kind, sy kinders kan sien die voetspore, die stap, die geduld van die natuur, want jy moet geduld hê vir die natuur self. Die Houdia het veroorsaak dat daar baie konflikte is, want dis 'n medisyne wat uitgevat is uit die tradisie uit. En geloof verfynnis verpoeier is. Die konflik is so breed en so groot dat ons twee afgebreek laat. Ons twee nie eens meer weet vandag waar staan ek en jy met mekaar nie.
Die Houdia se storie is eintlik maar 'n groot storie. Dit is 'n kennis wat gekom steel is by die Boesman. En nou beklei ons as die Boesman onder mekaar. Wie het die kennis gevat en verkoop? Ons beklei ook wie het die wêreld die Ngoba gekom wys. Hulle het nie die Ngoba geken nie. En nou kom steel ander mense die plant uit hier. Met groot bondels. Ons het die plante waar hy groei, aan mekaar groei, jy hoef hom nie soek nie. Maar nou het hulle hom uitgehaal, jy kry hom nie meer nie. Want hulle het ook die plant kragteloos gemaak. Ek het gevoel dit is die wetenskap en die biologie wat ons plant gekom steel het en ons kennis gekom steel het. En daarom is die plant weg en daarom dring ander mense ook aan op die plant en hulle kom haal hom uit. Ja. Presies. Nee, ons maak ons.
See these guys? Unilever. They're everywhere. Every place in the world, they're selling their food.
The company the CSIR licensed Houdia to is Unilever, an Anglo-Dutch corporation.
Check them here.
It's a giant multinational with an income exceeding that of many African states.
These are the people who own Houdia. Soon, the Houdia will be in the fridge or on the shelves here.
Yes.
Da. Unilever. Da. Unilever.
Given our history with these two nations, I asked Deputy Minister of Science and Technology, Derek Hanekom, why South Africa couldn't develop and market the drug itself.
My guess is that if you're looking for maximum benefit, maximum revenue, that you're going to get a lot more if you go with a big international corporation that is going to market this, that has marketing networks, retail networks, has a brand name, and that is going to put this on the shelves internationally. If you're talking about pure rands and cents or dollars, if you like, it's going to get you more. So on that basis, my guess is that we would benefit more, although it would have been great to have had our own homegrown South African branded product, but I'm not sure that the revenue would have been quite the same as the revenue potential that lies with Unilever.
This is Val Summer in the Unilever press office. You've reached my voicemail.
Please leave me a message after.
In these times where globalization has led to multinationals wielding more influence and power than many governments around the world, I want to know whether Unilever can be trusted to live up to their moral obligations to the Bushmen.
Press office. Do leave a message and I'll return your call as soon as I can.
No one's ever at their desk.
He ain't giving up.
The faceless corporation. Anyway.
Unilever might bring us more money, but a quick look at the internet reveals that although it claims to celebrate local people, the truth about its activities in the developing world makes for uncomfortable reading. And Hoodia, their wonder drug, is set to bring mass profits. Back in the Kalahari, I meet up with Petrus Falboy, who is at the original signing of the deal.
Bushmen get 3 cents from every 100 rand Unilever make. Are you happy with that?
Nou, dis waar ek jou sê waar die Bushman maar so swaar kry. Omdat hy almal vertrou. Vertrou almal. Jy sal my nie steel nie. Jy sal met my mooi loop. Alhoewel jy slimmer as ek is met daai skrywe van daai goed, kompersgoeders. Ek ken hom nie. Jy ken daai goed. Maar ek vertrou jy sal my mooi help. Dis wat ons geglo het aan die regering. Hy gaan ons mooi help. Hy het nog nie. Laat hy bemark word. Dan kan ons ten minste geld verwag. Miskien moet die mens jou voet in die deur kry. Onze voet is nog niet deur. Nou kan die mens later miskien sê maar, gooi vir ons die syfers op. Sy inkomste nou, redelik inkom. Dat is 'n syfer sien.
I'm interested to hear that Namibian Bushmen make money out of a plant that is sold at high prices in health stores across the world. Devil's Claw, widely used to treat arthritis, does not have a patent. Instead, they cultivate it and sell it themselves. Jan and I travelled 2,000 kilometres through the Kalahari to the Nine-Eye Conservancy in Namibia to find out whether there are any lessons to be learnt for Hoodia.
How much? En as ek kyk na die gesigte van my mense, dan lyk dit vir my, dit is my mense.
En my mense.
Is gesigte wat ek altyd geken het. Ek is bly om te sien dat julle my mense, julle lewe nog so.
Kukhayde na bibek atayde mkhayay. O singathi ngikadufisa nke, ngiqhwana la tabina ek. Hata nan ego. Achi kakutwa. Ngumtu ngaga. Ko vuchito adu kakwasi.
Is dit goed vir die oupa dat die ander mense inkom met hulle se gewere en die wild hier rondom u kom skiet?
Kahim ko dune. Chinha wa chinha kwingene. Chinha ka permeta yi o marisa ndo amaka o marisa ama ekau. De khamens ka yi khau esko marisa ndo. Kasi ngama ko rute twa parise ho am ata ho chao chinga tam twa ho khochetwa ko fabric ko ane amang kaso te kam shina ko ngobe ti twa du chingu ya khochat parise ko vet te chat ko so tishu ko ka to na ho furije ko mangwe ru sin pulbier sin unka douce te twa ho to.
Nou, natuurbewaring is hy nie baie kwaai op julle op die plant nie.
Kyk nee, ons kan toestem maar er moet sê ons kan saampraat. Ons kan dink as jy werk nee, moet jy nie gou vandag met dit wag met die jaar 3 jaar af.
Ja.
Dan jou graaf.
Nou die kanal gebruik ons vir die vrouens. Weer wat nie kinders kry nie. Dan kook jy die vrou om hierdie ene 8 dae saam met die melk. Dan is hy weer vrugbaar.
Ja,
dan kan hy weer kindertjies voorbring.
Ja, dis reg.
Ja.
Elke dag moet die sakke in naad en die blysakke moet droog word.
Ja.
Dan ons het vanavond ons kan hulle by mekaar sit met die sak.
Ja.
Môre
wie jy gooi weer oop. Ja.
Even though the Chimpanzee Bushmen have the exclusive rights to harvest Devil's Claw, it only brings them $50 for a 20-kilogram bag. Certainly not enough to maintain the 2,000 inhabitants of this land. Their main source of income in an area the size of a small European country is tourism and trophy hunting. In Namibia, they have found a way to interact with the modern world while maintaining their traditional way of life.
Daar is heel wat baie dinge wat my Khoi San mense verloor het waarin hulle nie meer so sterk is nie. Wat nog sterk leef hier binne in Namibia. Tot is dit tradisionele healings dansen en gezond maken. As jy transdans, dis 'n bo-natuurlike krag wat uit die man uitstraal. En dit kom van daai groot gees af in hom, deur hom. Want hy deur die eeue heen gekom. Dit is die tye wanneer hy kyk na die siektes en die klagtes van die mens om genees te kan word. Want wat gepaard gaan met die siektes, die demone binne in die liggaam, dit is geeste van duiwels wat uitgedryf moet word. Dit is iets anders hoe jy die gees aanneem. Of jy dit verwerp jy jou genesing. Maar as jy glo daarin, dan is jy genees.
In South Africa, Hoodia, the plant that feeds both appetite and soul, could bring the Kamani the money needed to buy back land, and through this, restore their cultural dignity. Whether the CSIR and our government take the necessary steps to safeguard the Bushman's survival remains to be seen. I hope so, as this may be their last stand.
Janie is net persoonlijk geweest. Maar gaan hulle later komen.
Kan so 'n bietjie hier kry. Kom. En ek glo nie die buitewêreld het daardie kennisse nie. Want baie mense is opgesny kom hulle soms hier by my. Baarkankers se vrouens wat swaar lê, hulle is deur mekaar en hulle sê hulle slaap nie meer, hulle is rusteloos. Dan kom hulle hier by my en nadat hulle van my af terug gaan, hulle by hulle plekke kom, dan rus die mense nie. Hulle het goed gaan. Want die mediese kon nie daardie stryd vir hulle verlig nie. Daarom dink ek is ons maar ook hier in die agtergrond, om ook ons hulp te bied vir die wêreld, om gesond te kan word, en gezond te kan lewe ook. En dit is maar net met terhalwe met die krye wat ons kan doen.
Kyk hoe swak is ons. My broers is almal swak. My familie is almal swak. Maar nogtans voel ek aan my om te veg vir my familie, want ek weet Ons het saam gelewe op hierdie grond, hierdie Bushman grond. Ek sê die twee bloedie, ek sê enkele bloedgeman nie, Bushman. En daaroor is dan effek teen my nasigheid, want die Bushman het geveg teen sy lewe, en teen sy regte, en teen sy tradisie, en teen sy natuur. Toe ek is baie bly, ken jy om nie.
Hi, thank you for watching. If you like this documentary and are interested in content just like this, please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe button just below the video. Thank you.